सह वीर्यंकरवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इंद्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं। शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Each one of us, or for that matter any human being, has his or her own picture of ideal I. What I should be or what I can be. There is an ideal I. Physically also there is ideal, emotionally, cognitively, any which way, professionally, any which way you look at yourself, there is an ideal I, or there is something or somebody that I want to become. The flip side of the statement is, I am not okay as I am. There is a constant urge to change, or you can say constant urge to improve upon myself, financially, socially, physically, cognitively, as I said, any which way. As of now, I am not okay. What is that ideal is subjective, based on one's own value structure that he or she picks up in the process of growth from the parents, from the religion, from the friends, from his or her own life experiences, or even religion, or even nation. Who, like American, who, fashion, fast fashion, fast fashions, stores together, scripts, thrift stores. When you buy from a thrift store, then you realize this fashion is gone. It's so fast, something new, something I want to be. Now this picture can be in terms of becoming, in terms of space, in terms of place, in terms of possessions, and maybe in terms of time also. Bottom line of it is, in becoming, I want to see myself as a happy person, as a content person. I want to see myself as a satisfied person, self-satisfied, self-contented, self-happy. As I said, what brings happiness is subjective. And those values are picked up during the process of growth and experiences. And some values you pick up by listening or knowing. Tourism brochures. People in West or people living in East want to go to West. If I settle in US, I'll be happier. If I settle in Canada or Australia or New Zealand or Europe, somewhere, I'll be better off. Even there also, there are some grades. I want to be in California. I want to be on New York. That too in Manhattan. I know I had one student who lived 12 years just in Manhattan. She had an apartment. I was reminded of Japan, you know, all small things. If you could to go to Japan, to close the door of the bathroom also, you have to do Ramdev Pranayama. You have to do some, then only you can close. It's so small things are there. Japan is unique thing. Anyway. So, but I want to live there. I always want something. Traditionally, the living was in terms of going to some lokas. And I have told you, lokas mean the fields of experiences. Lokete anubhuyate iti loka. And in this, there are superior lokas, 7 lokas, each one superior to other one. There, the sense objects are finer and subtler. Your capacities to enjoy them is also finer, subtler, and deeper. That also you require. You need that capacity. I remember this hostel student, especially the boys, when they read exam time and they are used to tea and coffee, I think like tea generally. And that a typical Indian student wants too much of boiled tea. You know, it keeps on boiling and it becomes dark brown, like color of the Gir cow. You know, it is that kind of tea they want. It almost tastes bitter, and then they get a kick out of it. Now, this fellow traveled. I had a friend. He traveled to some international destination. And their hostess gave him the dip tea, you know, that dip tea. He said, what is this tea? It was a very good brand and a costly tea, but to enjoy that tea, you need a sensitive and subtler sense organs. You need a finer sense of taste. Can't afford to be grosser. So these different fields of experiences gives you subtler and finer objects and finer capacities to enjoy the entire infrastructure. How it is achieved, that was talked so far. And how do you travel to those lokas? We don't believe that this is the only Janma, which all of the religions believe, except Hindus and religions which originated across Himalayas, you know, this side of the Himalayas. We don't say that. we accept the law of cause and effect with reference to birth and death. That is called law of dharma, law of karma. That decides the birth and the journey. The soul continues from different bodies to different births and have varieties of experiences, both pleasant and unpleasant. I mean, experience of comforts and discomforts, or you can say experience of happiness and unhappiness. Dukkha and sukha both are there. He or she, and even to become he or she also is an experience. It changes depending upon the karma. So this jiva is a traveler. Each one of us is a traveler. Here also in this life we travel. Travel in terms of aging, time. Travel in terms of space, going from one place to other. And we travel in terms of becoming also in this life. I want to become that. I want to become that. I want to become that. I want this degree and become an engineer or a doctor and of this from this university, and with I want a job and I want this position and I want this power and I want this place and etc. All goes on. It is always there. Want to become a husband or a wife and then want to become a father or a mother, and then after a certain age wants to become a grandparent. They pressurize children, typical Indian. Anyway, coming back to this, always becoming. And after death also is becoming. And by the way, our concept of marriage is two becoming fellows decide to travel together to become something together. That's all. Not to fight together and create problems for themselves and children and the parents and the neighbors. No. You become, you live a life of dharma. Anyway, joint travel, we decide. And Swami used to say this, Indian Railways had a slogan, travel light and make the journey happy. In those days, I'm talking of 60s and 70s, where people used to travel with a lot of luggage. Even they used to have big bag and water jug and a hold on and a bed, and inside the bed clothes and covering and everything. And some people used to travel with a kerosene stove also. They used to cook in the train. I've seen those in my childhood. They used to say travel light and make the journey pleasant. Marriage is travel light. What light, Light in terms of your strong likes and dislikes, strong values, strong attitudes. That only creates problem in any given relationship. Travel light, it's okay. But all the time it cannot be my way. I like that American, all the Western world have this mostly. When the lane merges into a highway, then the lane merges, then there is a board. Yield. Yield. Both of them are told to yield. Generally, this fellow only told, but then they both sometimes both, and even not told, both yield. Then only there is no accident. If they respond not to yield, and the other fellow also respond not to yield, that's it. That is an accident called divorce. Yielding. No, this travel light. It's okay. Just ready to change. Readiness to change is the lightest person. Not that you become pajama fellow. All the time you change and then create psychological problem. Every time I have to suffer and nobody. But when you feel and when you know this cannot be changed, better you change and travel light. Anyway, coming back to this becoming, how you travel, that also was told in the last mantra, Ehi eti suvarchasaya. Ahudaya. all those oblations, they welcome him. Like when you are welcomed, first class passenger on international flight is welcome, sir. That's the whole attitude is different. So that way they are welcome and taken to Eshava Punya Sukrito Loka. This is what your loka is, sir. This is your seat. They show you very politely. So they lead you to your loka, your field of experiences, all those ahutayas. Priyam vacham abhivadantyaha. We saw this last time with the pleasant words. Yeshavas sukrataha brahmaloka. There's different, subtler and finer fields of experiences to gain happiness. For subtler and finer happiness, they are gained through various karmas. What kind of karma? Punya karma. Two types of karmas were talked about. One was talked earlier, now second type is being talked now, and the limitations thereof. What is that? It says, one is Agnihotram. Yasya, we saw all in detail in this section. The daily rituals that a grahastha is supposed to perform, and that ritual accompanied by certain other rituals which are to be performed occasionally on full moon day and new moon day and every fourth month and every third month and on certain seasons and etc. etc. We have seen that. And that accompanied, if it is, you gain certain lokas. If those things are accompanied by certain upasanas, certain japa, certain mental activity. Yajna is primarily a physical activity. When you do upasana, upasana doesn't mean meditation. Let's make it clear. Nowadays, there are all kinds of meditations are going on. Sometimes I feel you have to just change the spelling. It is not MEDI, it is AMADI, meditations. And people go mad after that. Indian meaning of mad is different. This it's a fact, couple of 3 or 4 doctors here and couple of them in Ahmedabad have told me, these modern gurus, so-called yoga and meditation and pranayama gurus, when they come in the town, popular guys, and then they advocate they market their meditations and pranayamas, people become psychic. Prana impacts the mind. Children have problems, and those doctors say when we know they are coming, the psychiatrists tell me, now I will have more patients, we'll earn more money. He told me a couple of them. So, and that is Indian meditation, MAD, meaning of mad. American meaning is mad means he gets angry, That's I got mad at him, they say. So after so-called meditation, they become mad because you are not ready for it. Meditation requires a meditator. And meditator is most important or more important than actual process of meditating. If the meditator is ready, meditation is a journey of joy. In most cases, it is not ready, therefore, meditation becomes struggle. Meditation becomes a project to be finished. Meditation makes them mad because they don't succeed in gaining that relative peace and leisure of the mind anyway. So that's not upasana. Upasana means where the Bhagavan is in the center. A mental activity centered on Bhagavan. That is upasana. When such rituals are accompanied by upasanas, one gets ultimate loka called Brahma Loka. Okay? That's this last one, Brahma Loka. So, Agnihotra, etc. karma take you to heaven and it's a little beyond. And certain yajnas, which are desire prompted. These are the mandatory things you have to do, which is to be done daily or occasionally. It is mandated by Vedas according to Varnashramas. But certain desire prompted actions you perform, and if these actions are backed by certain upasanas, they can take you to Brahmaloka. And what are those actions and what are the limitations? That is being talked about now. In the first 6 mantras, karma is praised. Or you can say the good aspect of the karma is was talked about. The benefits of karma, what you get out of karma. Next mantra points out the limitations in the weaknesses or the maryada of varieties of karma. And idea is that you may discover the fact that what I get is precious little and what I pay for is too large. And thereby you grow out of, not give up, you grow out of this need, this urge of becoming. Having become also, you discover that there is no intrinsic change that has taken place in me, the person. I continue to be the same wanting, same dissatisfied, same discontent, the individual that I was before. So that to lead to the discovery, now this next section is there where the limitations are talked about. In a traditional word, you can say to lead you to Vairagya. This is being discussed. Please understand, Vairagya is not an action. Vairagya is maturity. Vairagya is purely cognitive. It may express physically, but the expression may differ from person to person. And you cannot judge the person from the expression. Vairagya is certain understanding, certain intrinsic change in your value structure, intrinsic change in the way you look at the world, in the way you look at yourself, in the way you look at your pursuits, way you look at your goals and the ideals. And that change is brought about out of certain understanding. If it is emotional, it doesn't last. So there is the next section is an analysis. It gives you an insight about what we have been trying to achieve. What do I get in so-called becoming? What do I get in so-called becoming the ideal I? That's my subjective picture. To what extent should I have this picture and should I pursue this picture? And when I'm pursuing, where do I fall in? All this is analyzed here in the next 6 mantras. And the concluding mantra is there about it, the called Vairagya mantra. You will see that. Look at the mantra number 70. 17. Plavahyete adruda yagna rupaha. Plavahyete adruda yagna rupaha. Ashtadashoktam avaram yeshu karma. Ashtadashoktam avaram yeshu karma. Etat shreyo bhinandanti mudha. Etat shreyo bhinandanti mudha. Etat shreyo ye bhinandanti mudha. Jara mrutyum te punarevapi yanti. Jara mrutyum te punarevapi yanti. Plavahyete yadruda yagna rupaha. Ashtadashoktam avaram yeshu karma. Plavahyete adruda yagna rupaha. Ashtadashoktam avaram yeshu karma. एतत् श्रेयोभिनन्दन्ति मूढाः जरा मृत्युं पुनरेवापि यन्ति। एतत् श्रेयो येभिनन्दन्ति मूढाः जरा मृत्युं पुनरेवापि यन्ति। ये अभिनन्दन्ति ते जरा मृत्युं पुनः अपि यन्ति। Abhinandanti means not congratulates. Those who rejoice in, those who revel in, those who think this is the ultimate. They punaha eva, punah, again and again, jara mrityum apiyanti. Again, jara means old age and death. Again and again, they gain this. Okay? It's an idiom in Sanskrit. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, or Janma, Mrityu, Jara, etc. When they talk about birth and death and old age and etc., what does it mean? Dukkham. They go to Dukkham again and again. Who are they? Etat Shreyo Abhinandanti. Those who think this is the Shreyas. This is the ultimate, as they call it, the ultimate. This is the moksha. This is the pursuit of my life. That each one, others also should pursue. They gain from one dukkha to another. What they think about? The first line of this mantra talks about sadhana, the means. And this is the end. Both are, what are they? Moodha, deluded. Not clear. Delusion is absence of clarity with reference to means, and absence of clarity with reference to the end as well. Okay? What are the means they employ? They say, it says, the means they employed, yagna rupaha. Okay? They are employing yagnas. What are they? Ashtadashoktam yagna rupaha plavaha. It's an imagery. They want to cross, as we popularly use the idiom, that samsara sagra. This world or human, the life is compared to an ocean. And you have to cross over, Bhavasagar tarana hai. That's it. Say, we have to cross this samsara. Sagar. It is equated to ocean because it is limitless. The cycle of birth and death, cycle of sukha dukkha. In fact, the sukha is very little in between. All the time unhappy is endless. Unless you come across a competent teacher and study the Shastra and discover that you are Ananda. Human life is fraught with all kinds of pains. If not physical, psychological. There is always a pain. There is always a dukkha. And then when you say, how are you? Chalta hai. Typically, Indians are honest in telling, chalta hai. So, what are you doing? The typical Keralite will say, yo. They have this style, Nambudri will do the yo, chalta hai. Yo. An American will just raise the shoulder. It's okay. Okay. Nobody says, awesome, cool. That doesn't come. It may come when somebody has given him something, but doesn't last long. Anyway, coming back to this. He is talking about different kinds of yajnas. What are the yajnas? Ashtadashoktam yajna. The yajna having 18 constituents. Very big ritual. And the bigger the ritual you do it, greater the phalam you get. So, it can take you to Urdhva-loka. It can, that punyam, the result, the subtle result, the unmanifest result would be in terms of punyam. That which takes you after death to those lokas where the objects of enjoyment are finer and subtle, and your capacities are subtle, and the necessary infrastructure is there, necessary body is there. That yajnas having 18 constituents, they are called as plavaha. Plavaha means like a raft. Just take a plank of wood, you know, and then hammer it out and make something which can just float around. And that is the raft for crossing the ocean of samsara, upon which that inferior avaram karma, inferior karma is dependent. And those who think they are the deluded ones, who think that they rejoice in that, take it to be the ultimate for moksha, they gain dukkham from one dukkham to another dukkham. Raft is not an appropriate means to cross the samsara, ocean. Even it cannot cross a river, like Gangaji and Brahmaputra, etc. You cannot cross. But then, similarly, karma is not like a raft, which is incapable of crossing the ocean of samsara, however big the karma may be. Even that karma with 18 constituents. 18 constituents means 4 brahmanas from each Veda. 4 Rigveda Brahmana, 4 Yajurveda Brahmana, 4 Samveda Brahmanas, and 4 Atharva Veda Brahmanas. And they are different names. Yajur Ganas. Then this Yajurveda Brahmanas are called Yajur Ganas. Rigveda Brahmanas are called Hotrus. Samveda are called Udgatrus. And Atharva Vedas are called Brahmaganas. And each 4 have the names. Yajurveda, 4 Brahmana are called, these names, Advaryu, Pratiprasthana, Nasta, and Unneta. Like that, there are names. It is only for academic. I'm just informing you. Because some of you may not know even what the 4 differences between 4 Vedas. So, that yajna with Yajmana and his wife makes 80. So, all big rituals. All these rituals are like plavaha, like a raft. Why? From 2 counts. Our Shastra are very clear. They say like produces like. As the cause, so the effect. Any karma, however elaborate it may be, elaborate in terms of dravyas, elaborate in terms of mantras, elaborate in terms of brahmanas, and elaborate in terms of duration, whatever, any which way, however elaborate it may be, but it is limited. Because the doer is limited. The resources of the doer are limited. The Yajmana is limited in terms of time. He or she is limited in terms of space. You can be at one yajna, you can't do other yajnas. And psychologically, certainly you are limited. You cannot stand psychologically these long rituals in terms of maintaining certain frame of mind which is stipulated in Vedas as per the ritual. So it is going to be limited. Like produces like, the karma phala is always limited. So those karmas which can take you to heaven, they being limited, your stay in heaven is also limited. There is another difference. All these religions, they say you qualify to go to heaven just by being a believer. Faithfuls will go to heaven. And non-believers will go to hell. Because some fellow has gone to the extent of saying non-believers are kafirs and they deserve to be punished. Hereby they say that God has given us a mandate to punish you because you don't believe in our God. Very childish thinking. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. If you are a believer, you go to heaven, faithfuls. And if you are a non-believer, you go to hell. Our Shastra says you qualify to go to heaven or hell. It depends upon your karmas. Type of the action you perform, you get the result. One. And as I said, action being itself limited, it can create only a limited karma phalam. So having exhausted those phalas, you come back to new janma. Kshine punye marte lokam vishanti. In those lokas, you may have only happiness all the time, some comfort and pleasures. But once that karma is over, exhausted, the fellow goes to another cycle of birth and death according to those pending karmas. This particular punya karmas took him or her to that yoni and loka, but not permanently. Those religion who are faith-based, they say you go to heaven permanently. You will have eternal dinner with the Bhagwan. They say, eternal dinner. How can there be eternal dinner? If it is eternal dinner, it must be eternal night also. Because unless you are a typical, that lady, English lady, you know, she invited the husband's friend for lunch, and then she says, come for dinner, come for dinner. The husband took her to call, it is not called dinner. You have come from other India, you don't know the language, it is lunch. She says, I know it is lunch, but this dinner that was left over only I'm going to serve. So I'm telling, come for dinner. રાતનું વૈધું વધારે છે એટલે કે છે મેં ડિનર કરું છું. હારું છું તમે બોલાય, અમે બગડી જતા. એટલે आज खाली करना ही था, आपने बुला लिया, अच्छा हुआ, come for dinner. She repeats. So unless in heaven also you can have lunch, but again that will be dinner, cold, still dinner. So any which way you are a loser. If it is eternal dinner, so either there will be eternal night, or you will have that dinner, which is a stale, These ISKCON fellows, when they begin this restaurant, you better don't go there. Sometimes they keep serving 3 days, 4 days old food because they cook in a bulk and people don't come in. They are not professional sell, so they don't throw it away. Anyway, coming back to this, I have experience, so I'm telling. Coming back to this, you don't go to heaven eternally. So you go to heaven or any loka only on a tourist visa. No one has a green card or citizenship. Those devatas have work permit, okay? H1, what visa they call it? H1. They are on H1. They also don't have green card. Our Shastra is very clear. In a way, thank God. Otherwise, like America, heaven also would be full of Patels and Shahs from Gujarat. That noodle psychology, you can't pick up one noodle. If you eat noodles, you take one, there are two, three will be clinging that. So this fellow goes, that his father, mother comes, his in-laws comes, and brother-in-law comes, and brother comes, at least 25, 30 comes. So heaven would have been crowded. So it's good. Each one has only visitor visa. Even the very heaven is not eternal. Abrahma bhunan lokaha punaravartino. Even the heaven itself comes to end when Mahapralaya takes place. When the total resolution takes place, the heaven also dissolves. And so Indra is also for the time bound. The work permit is also limited. And you can't work in heaven and earn new punyas. You go only as a tourist visa. And there is no casinos also. So you can gamble and earn more money. You go, just exhaust your punya, and it is said Indra kicks you out. They have a clock kicking. You buy a Coca-Cola, there, this much punya gone from, it is all credit card, no debit card business. Whatever is available in your account, you spend it and then you are thrown out. So, these karmas are plavaha, adrudaha. Drada means firm. Drada means solid. They are themselves are not firm because, as I said and we have discussed earlier, to perform such karmas, you require tremendous discipline and tremendous, fairly favorable infrastructure in terms of season, in terms of wind, in terms of body, in terms of brahmanas, in terms of the dravyas available, everything. Sometimes in those karmas, there will be some omissions and commissions. And once you omit something, or if there is some commissions, then you pay through your nose. It is mentioned. So there is a plavaha. And it says, adrudaha yagna rupa, the rituals. Punya karma can help you to avoid dukkham for some time, but not permanently. It can save you from hell hereafter, but not permanently. Therefore, adrudaha yagna rupaha. And ashtadashoktam yeshu avaram karma uttam. There are 18 constituents, means 16 priests and 2 yajamana, the husband and a wife. Such yajnas always necessitates a wife. Most of the yajnas necessitates a woman to join with you. In fact, one of the reasons to get married in those days was to have a wife that thereby can perform certain rituals and earn certain punyas. Anyway, so what is it considered to be? Ashtadashoktam yagna rupaha etat shreyaha abhimandanti ye mudaha. Those who consider it to be shreyas. Shreya means moksha. What is moksha? Moksha means freedom. Freedom means to discover myself as a limitless being. Okay? Or, in other words, you can say moksha means, let us put in a simple jargon, to be happy and complete all the time, all places, in all situations. To gain limitless happiness. To gain permanent contentment is moksha. As I said at the beginning, each one has a picture. What is that picture of moksha? If I have this, I'll be complete. They say, bas, जीवन में शांति हो जाएगी, बस. I want only that. I'll be content forever. I'll be happy forever. I'll be satisfied forever. I'll be non-demanding forever. As of now, there is a demand urge. I must have that. And without which I see myself as insufficient, incomplete person. Moksha means to see myself as a self-sufficient, self-content, self-satisfied person. To see myself as non-demanding person. To feel at home with myself. I'm at home with myself. That is moksha. They think karma is a means of moksha. In other words, becoming is a means for moksha. Any becoming, as I said, if achieved through karma, karma being limited, that thing also is going to be limited. You think that would be sufficient. It would suffice you, make you feel comfortable. Now you think, having gained that, you discover the limitations of it and start feeling discontent. As I said, in the beginning, there is an ideal I. Physically, I should look this way, that way, hairstyle and skin and the height and the figure and the color and nails and anything. Similarly, psychological ideal, financially, I feel I should have this much money. Just let us analyze one aspect. When we were studying in the university and college, we thought if I get 50 rupees per month extra, I would be the king of the world, I would be on the top of the world. If I have 50, I saw myself to be complete and satisfied person. Then got a job. What was the salary? 800 rupees. Big one. You jump from 40 to 800 suddenly, first month. And then after the 6 months, you are promised some 2,500 rupees. You thought that you are complete now. You will be complete. You will be at home. You will be satisfied. After 3 months, you discover it is not enough. It goes on. You may think 100,000 today per month if I get extra. That's all. If all, no more. This Mukesh Ambani may be thinking what? 100,000 crores, that's all. The amount changes. But the sense of insufficiency, the sense of lack, the sense of discontentment continues the same. That is called mudhatva. Deluded. An intelligent person also can be mudha. So-called intelligent. It's intelligent in terms of IQ. Intelligent maybe in terms of profession. Maybe he may have certain sharpness, certain subtlety, certain quickness, something all may be there. Lack of clarity about what I want and what I am doing is mudha. Lack of clarity about my ideals, about my goals, about my values. We sometimes keep on pursuing wrong values. And you invest yourself so much in that given value. That value becomes more important than you. Our famous example, that Karna, he invested in a value of charity. It became so big that he himself became a compulsive giver. It became his self-identity. People should know me as a giver. And even when his father Surya Devata comes and tells him Tomorrow Indra will come as a Brahmana and ask you for this. Don't give him. No, I will give. Anyway, that's a separate discussion. But coming back to this, our own values loom so large. This is mudatva. You know, to think you don't see through the things. And in a hindsight, look at yourself. When I was 15 or 10, when I was 20, when I was 25, when I became 40, when I was 50, when I was 60, think of it, what you valued most, what you thought as a fulfillment, contentment. And now you see the fallacy in your own value. You see the fallacy in your own goal. You see the limitations in your own ideals. That is was moksha for you at that age. With that level of maturity, with level of cognitive and emotional growth, you thought this is ultimate. Then you discover. So, to think I'll be liberated in heaven, I'll be liberated in Brahmaloka, I'll be liberated in this, means some other place. Some promised place where pleasures are finer and subtler. That is mudatvam. Okay? And so, the intelligent, as I said, deluded with reference to the goals of life, deluded with reference to values of life, ideals of life. People hold on. You know, when I see certain Guinness Book of Records, what do you get out of this? I just don't understand. They spend millions and millions of rupees, institutions. If they have to pay through nose because the whole team comes from UK, and then they'll stay in a 5-star and you have to treat them, and then they observe on trial, and next day they register and take a picture and then declare. What record? Oh, eating maximum idlis in 1 minute. The idiot practiced this for last 1 year, wasted all those idlis, and who remembers all this? Wrong thinking. Delusion is lack of clarity with reference to goal of life. Lack of clarity with reference to the purpose of living. Our own values, improper values, is delusion, not fool. They don't see through what exactly I want in life. Exactly like a child. Modern children, you know, those days when we were young, we had different demands. Modern little affluent children have only 2 demands. Father is going abroad for business, they want toys. And what toys? Cars and guns. There is a change, you know, picture of the society. They want different cars and they want gun. And daddy brings a gun which makes just noise. And he takes and says, Mommy, tissue. Daddy, tissue. That's all they do with that gun. And they have some 50, 60 so-called cars. And when the daddy goes out, or if the baby goes out with a family vacation, and there are some trip, and obviously those toys will be there. Daddy, I want this. No, you have so many. Daddy, this is the last one. This is the last one. The last one. I don't have this. I like this color. If not given, it cries. You know, and gets it. You should see that. What a contentment. I got it. How long? Till 1 hour. By then he himself breaks it. And next day he wants new. Lack of inability to see through my pursuits, inability to see through my relationships, inability to see through my achievements, incapacity to see through my way of thinking. This is called delusion. And most of them are deluded. That's why in our culture, we always had a guru, some wise person, old person whom we listen to, whom you ask. Because that person, hopefully, with the experiences of life, has learned to see it. You have to add hopefully, because Swamiji used to say this, that English saying, experience makes the person wiser. It doesn't. It makes you wiser if you learn from experience. People don't learn, therefore, they keep on repeating the same experiences and keep on suffering. Anyway, so a person who have had many experiences and who have had learned from it, so because he can see through it, and if not, you pursue wrong ends or improper ends, and you pursue improper means, jara mrityum punareva piyanti, from one dukkham, from one unpleasant situation, from one dissatisfied eye, you go to another dissatisfied. No, eye is dissatisfied only. The nimitta changes. You thought you are unhappy because of this, brought about a change, and then find out a new reason to be unhappy. So it's all the way blame game. All the way dissatisfied. Those who think that way, they go from one birth to another birth, means one unhappiness to unhappiness. Never ever can they discover the self which is content, which is happy, which is at home with oneself. And some of these guys are quite vocal also. They market themselves, their values and goals. About them, Shruti talks about in the next mantra. We'll look into it tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Namaste.